Hey everybody, it's Caleb from Mediocre Gamers, and I'm playing some World of Myths. This is a digital collectible card game on Steam, and it is in early access. I was asked by the developers to give a review of it after they saw our YouTube channel, and noticed that we really like card games, digital and otherwise. Please forgive me for any sort of voice issues or coughing and stuff like that. I'm still recovering from surgery that I had in October. I won't mince words, and I will keep it brief. It did not go very well. I almost died and had to have a second emergency surgery that has put me down pretty hard. But I wanted to go ahead and get this review done and out. That way people can actually see it. So one of the first things that hits you in the face is graphics and sound, and like the general aesthetic. And those are things that are really important to me, just as an overall gamer and as a creator myself, that I really like to take in the full scope of things. So there's some good, there's some bad. One of the good things is that sound quality is really, really good. I love the music. It sounds very reminiscent of something that I've heard from like Dungeon Defenders and like World of Warcraft or that sort of thing. It sounds really good. Voiceover is pretty good. It's not, Troy Baker or anything like that, but it's good. It's decent. Graphics, on the other hand, was one of the things that kind of, you can kind of take a look and notice that everything seems extremely low resolution. And I will point out that in my options, the quality is set to fantastic. I do hope that any of these things, any of the things that bug me about the game will end up being fixed, especially like graphics type things, once it comes out of early access or while, during early access. That being said, it's passable, but it is very, very noticeable. And in a game that has low-res art, but you are still kind of dumping money into... Now, I've been playing this as free-to-play only. I've not dumped any money into this game. So my experience as a free-to-play player will differ, I think, from somebody who dumps money into it, just like anything from Hearthstone, Eternal, anything like that. You're gonna notice a bit of a different gameplay when you have that advantage of spending money. But when you don't even have high-resolution art, I feel like that's one of the first things that you do is you kind of perfect sound and the visuals, and then go from the ground up, because that first impression, that presentation is the first thing and one of the most prominent things that's going to hit a player in the face when they start is, that doesn't look all that great. But again, it's early access, so hopefully that gets fixed. I'm going to go ahead and just jump into a game. I'm going to jump into just a casual game and probably get wrecked. But there is, in terms of visuals, like, the cards look fantastic. Most of the art on the cards looks great. I love the art style. It is very reminiscent, art-wise, of like a Warcraft or Hearthstone or something like that, but it does feel like kind of their own spin on it. So I don't feel like I'm just playing a Hearthstone clone or something like that. Also, gameplay is drastically different. Hopefully I can actually get in one here pretty soon, and I don't have to just break out into song and dance to fill time. Here we go. See, as you can see here, like, that versus screen is extremely low resolution, and I know that I shouldn't be as irritated by that as I am, but I am. So this is all. A lot of this is going to feel very familiar if you've played Hearthstone or most any digital card game these days. The cards, as you can see, are very familiar. We're going to throw both of those back. And get cards I can't play. Okay, that's fine. So one of the things that is noticeably different from some other games is that these creatures do not have health. They have attack, which is obviously the sword and shield number there, which is 1, and then over on the side, those pips, this one has 2, this one has 1, that is how many times that they can be used during a combat before they are destroyed. So, and that is called endurance. So this character can only be used once, he can't attack, so he can basically defend one attack. She can defend twice, as she cannot attack either. All damage has kind of trample, so when you defend, you are defending and reducing their damage by that number. So I am going to throw out a Shield Maiden and pass turn. The other thing that is actually really interesting, and this was one of the things that I actually liked, and you can definitely see the influence, and that is these temples are attack points. When you send an attacker, you actually send them at one of these 3 temples. And when you successfully deal damage to one of the temples, you get an ability. So this one is you draw a card, and my leftmost unit, which would be this boy, gets +2 power. This one is that my opponent chooses and kills one of their units, and this one is that I draw a card, and my rightmost unit, which would be her, gains +1 endurance, so they can be used again. It is definitely a nod to Netrunner and running on the different locations, basically, of hand, deck, discard pile, and the other stuff. I haven't played a lot of Netrunner, sorry, but I get the reference. Anyway, I get it. I know. Stop shaking. Yeah, there we go. Participating hunter. When a friendly Viking dies, put this unit onto the battlefield from your hand. Okay. Okay, so he's swinging over at this one. Now, I can just send her and block all of it. So I'm gonna. That seems fun. So he gains his endurance back, and I drew a card. Good lord. Okay. So this spell is going to make one of the units lose an endurance, which should just outright kill him. And it did. Drop that guy. Give him +2 attack. And then I'm going to run on that to just keep farming endurance. Boop. Target unit and its adjacent units lose 1 power. That seems like a smart move. Got 2 left, nothing else to do. Go ahead and take out a tower. It does play very fast, like just gameplay speed itself, which is kind of nice. Okay, so he threw out his dude. So basically it's a 3/8 creature, which is fine. So he's swinging for a whole 4. Leftmost unit gets +2 attack. That does kind of suck. So I could... Oh, can I cast that now? Because that'd be fucking hilarious. Yep. So I can cast that now, and then I'll just go ahead and defend. And then... Does something when attacking alone. Rune Bear, Ex-NATO. Kill all units, your leader loses 4 health. The strongest enemy unit loses 1 power. So I think I throw her down, and then next turn I can Ex-NATO and just nerf his whole board. But yeah, why not? I should have put her on the right. Oh well. Oh, it doesn't matter because I can't gain endurance. It's been a minute. You gonna defend with everything? Okay. Boom! So it's gonna give him +1. Yeah, we'll defend there. Seems decent. Lose 1 power when a blessing is played. Okay. You are going at that thing so hard. So I could drop him. And then go here. And basically feign him into blocking. And then just kill the 8/8. Or the 8 strength. Ah, doesn't matter. Never mind. I messed up. That's okay. So, my quote-unquote god, his ability is while he's on the pedestal, which is basically his default state, if I win an attack with 2 or more attackers, all my friendly units get +1 power. So, that's one of the reasons why he's good. Swinging in for 2... I mean, and you want that one so bad. I'll defend. Because nope. That's risky as all get out. I should have attacked first. I'm dumb. Oh no! No defense. Yep. So, it was a gamble. I mean, I could have just thrown down another dude and been fine. But I hadn't really played too much with pulling the gods off the pedestal, so I wasn't 100% sure on how it would function. It went fine. We'll go ahead and jump into another game. Like I said, it goes pretty quick. A couple things to go over. I was not a huge fan of the tutorials. They were extremely short, and I didn't really learn how to play the game through them. It's almost like challenge missions, where it's like, hey, you've got this deck, these cards out, this is going on, you need to win in 2 turns, or whatever, that sort of thing. And then it goes, hey, you should push this button, and I'm like, okay, but I can kill the guy, like, right now, and it's like, but you can't do any other actions. Whatever it is telling you to do is the only thing that you can do. So it doesn't really encourage you learning by doing, it encourages you by not encouraging you really at all. It basically points you in a direction and says that is how you have to play this tutorial. It definitely doesn't feel great. And like I said, I had a difficult time learning the game. I think the tutorials, in my opinion, need to be completely reworked. Oh, that's a big dude. Instead of going to your graveyard. Each player returns the topmost unit from the graveyard to their hand. Okay. Drop that and pass. Now, there are different gods from different... basically, they're factions, which is something that's cool because each faction plays very differently. I am a fan of Vikings, so of course I'm going to play the Vikings. We'll go ahead and drop that. And there's no real reason to drop that, so... we'll go ahead and bring him in. We'll start doing some damage. I'm gonna get blocked, but that's fine. That should take out 2 characters otherwise. No, we're not. Sweet. Restore 2 health to your leader. Okay. 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 Reduce the damage a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and give her some strength. We're gonna throw him down there. And we're gonna pass. Okay, so swinging in for 5. He can... Chud Boy could go too. Well... gain 1 power when a friendly beast dies. Okay. Swing with everything? Okay. Mm-hmm. So, there's a couple of ways to win the game. You can either destroy all 3 temples, or you can kill the opposing god, as you saw in the last game, where my god was reduced to 0 health, so he died. But if you destroy all 3 temples, it also wins the game. Oh, you're swinging for a whole bunch. Once again, you want that thing so bad. That's fine. You can get a hit on it. Let's see here. Got 8. We're gonna do that. And he should get raid. What? Just something. Oh, when not attacking alone. I misread that. Damn it. Oh! Yo! That's irritating. Defend. So then I'm going to do this. Kill that a-hole. And then I'm going to drop an... Do I drop another one of those, or do I pull him out? I think I pull him out. Send him up there. Send him up there. Send him up there. Oh, never mind. Because apparently I can't attack 2 targets at once. And I can't cancel attackers! That's super irritating! Why can't I attack 2 locations at once? Damn it. I could have actually just straight up locked the game right there, and maybe that's why. Maybe they don't want me to have fun with strategy. Well, come on now. Well, she can't do anything else, so... Let's see. Well, I think I do this. Why can't I play the card? Oh. Probably because they forced an update through while I was in the middle of a game. Okay. Yeah, this wasn't great. Get back out there. Alright. Whatever. Alright, we're just gonna go... We're not gonna go back to the main menu. Alright, we're just gonna chat about stuff as it is now. Because I really don't want to close down the game. So... The fact that you can't split your team to attack different targets, I think, reduces the strategy that could be there. Especially when you have an influence like Netrunner, which is obvious here, where you could run on different sites in the same turn. Like, forcing your opponent to choose what they want to defend seems smart. I mean, I can understand early game if you can flood out some weenies, then you can start getting rewards by just attacking everything, because they can't get out units fast enough, but, I mean, isn't that what Weenie Rush is about? Anyway. There's a fair amount of input lag, but it has improved since I started playing. just something that needs to be kind of optimized. Um, when I was fighting one of the tutorial enemies, Hachiman, I ended up getting into a position where I could not do anything, as no commands were actually legal. So I was attempting to attack a temple, but it only let me choose one attacker, even though I had two legal units. Then it said choose target, but it would not let me click on anything. I actually had to quit the game and reload it. I don't know if that was just a bug or some sort of glitch or something, but that was kind of frustrating. Um, I like the idea of multiple mythologies and each one playing differently, as I was saying before. Um, it really adds kind of a depth and a theme to things. Um, I think that the card backs could be a bit more imaginative. I know that's kind of a nitpicky thing, and I don't want to be a nitpicky person. Um, but I guess there's a couple of extra card backs that you can earn from doing special things. Um, and I feel like with this being an early access, with this being a new game, a new IP, uh, this isn't a game that's based off of something else. That you have so much potential. You could do anything with anything, including some really really cool card backs. I completely understand having the base card back being what it is, which is just the symbol for the game, which is the point. I mean, that's exactly what you would want it to be. But some of the like premier card backs for special activities, special events, I think that expanding on those and really just kind of going nuts would be really cool to see. Um, I don't really know who the audience is for this game, or who the intended audience is, I should say, um, because you. This is not a game that's going to pull people away from Hearthstone. So I don't know if it's being made as a competitor to Hearthstone because it's very similar in, like, if you look at the board, if you look at like the card, or the actual cards themselves, the card template, it even the mana or energy or whatever, those things are very familiar. Um, I don't really know who the audience is. The other thing is that the art is fairly cartoonish with very little like violence, we'll say. So I don't know if this is targeted for like a younger audience, if this is targeted as a just kind of an all around whoever wants to play it can play it, very similar to Hearthstone. I don't know the intended audience. The strategy, there's a lot of depth to it. Again, the complexities of attacking which temple to get which benefit, while simplified from something like Netrunner, still feels like an added layer of strategy that something like Hearthstone, Eternal, those types of games do not have, making it a little more complicated, which I would imagine would not be as easily accessible to a younger audience. The other thing is, if it is targeted to a more younger audience, there was one card in particular that I felt was extremely inappropriate, and that was the Seppuku card, which I can't show you right now. But I will. In fact, I will just close this game out. So it looks like I can't even quit the game. Alt F4 it is. Hey, don't look at my wish list. Or my folders. We'll see what happens here. So... Anyway, there is a card called Seppuku, which, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it is ritual suicide, commonly used in Japan in the olden days. Basically, samurai, when they were dishonored, would commit the act of seppuku, plunging their sword into their abdomen and basically cutting themselves open and killing themselves. So, I don't know the target audience. It's a game that's very cutesy and, like, accessible art-wise. Yeah, thanks. Go away. Oh, everything just changed. Woo! Again, no high-res art. Collection. Okay. Cards? There we go. Seppuku, right here. So, it is kill target friendly unit to give your strongest unit 1 power and 1 endurance. Thematically, it's kind of a hit and a miss, because it doesn't actually make sense that a dishonored samurai, for instance, would commit seppuku, and then another samurai would get stronger for it necessarily. It seems fairly inappropriate, just in general, in my opinion. I've asked a couple of my friends and a couple of the other guys on the podcast, and they also agreed. They were just like, depending on the target audience, that doesn't really seem to have a place there. But that's a personal, individual kind of irk rather than anything else, because they can put whatever they want in the game. I still don't understand what rarities are in the game. Like, I don't see anything that really differentiates anything, except maybe these little dots at the bottom. But I still don't know what those dots mean. And maybe you don't find out until you buy packs and it tells you then, but I'm trying to do this free-to-play because I feel like most people who would jump into an early access card game would play it as a free-to-play before pumping any money into it. We have 2 types of currencies, which, yeah. You want a game like this to have in-game currency that you can earn and then spend for packs and stuff like that. And we'll go ahead and jump over to the store and totally not be able to see. Okay, now I don't even know where to buy packs. Where the... There we go. Oh, it's... You have to click and drag. Okay. Okay, so as you saw, like this, Road to Egypt, Myths Pass, you get a whole bunch of stuff for $6.99, which doesn't seem like a bad deal at all. But then you have this. Card packs. I can buy a card pack for 500 gold, 3 for 480, and so on and so forth. I can't just buy packs for money. And then you have this, where it's $5 for 500 diamonds, $10 for 1,200, and so on and so forth. You also have skins, which are totally fine. except they are bought with diamonds instead of money. I feel like this is a great time for a card game, especially an up-and-coming one, to go, hey, we're not doing the stupid predatory secondary currency. Like, cash and gold. That's all you need. And I feel like doing this just, again, copies... And not saying that they're just copying people. I don't want that to be the message that I'm saying. But it's just nothing different than what we've already seen. Hearthstone does this crap, and everybody hates it. I mean, you can buy the, like, 50 packs for $60 or whatever, but you still have to juggle different currencies. At least that's how it was when I played back in the ancient days. Don't play Hearthstone anymore. But it's too many games that have microtransactions have this premium currency, and it's so frustrating because now you have to start doing math because, hey, I really want 3 card packs. Well, I can buy, it's 480, so I can pay $5 to get 500 and then do that. But then I have 20 diamonds left over. Well, what if I want the 7 card packs? I'll pay $10, but now I have 100 left over. And there's nothing that I can spend that 100 or 20 or whatever on. And everything seems to be in a fairly even number, in the sense of that 100 is not really going to get me anywhere, that 20 is not going to get me anywhere in any of these, so it's just dead money. And you can't use it to buy just a single card pack either. So those types of things definitely frustrate me. You do have stuff like this, which these deals are fantastic, in my opinion. The starter pack is $5. You get 10 packs and 500 diamonds. So effectively, 13 packs if you wanted, or however you wanted to spend those diamonds, which looks like that seems to be the only way to do it. You can also do these things, which are special card packs, it looks like, for the new faction, which is actually, in theory, kind of cool, because now if you have paid into it or you've farmed a bunch of packs, you're not just getting packs for a faction you're not even using. But like this, $7, you get 8 packs, glitter vials, time sand. I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no flying idea what any of those are. Main temple skin, side temple skin, which is cool. New title. You get a new card back, 300 diamonds, and a draft ticket. That's really good. That's a great deal. And then this thing, $20, you get 30 packs, and you get the Founders thing, which is 10% lifetime player experience, 10% lifetime leader experience. You get the title of Founder, and you get a trophy cosmetic. That's a hell of a deal. That's basically a box of packs, and you get a permanent bonus. Now, I also very much dislike bonuses like that, like Heroes of the Storm does, where it's like, hey, you want to buy the stem pack so you can level up faster and get more gold and stuff like that. But as a Founders pack, it makes sense. And it doesn't actually have like a detrimental effect on anyone, so it seems fine. It's also a one-time buy, and it comes with 30 packs and whatever else. So it doesn't feel like you're dropping extra money to get that bonus. It's just kind of a bonus. So I feel like these packs are the only real value that makes sense. And the fact that you can buy them with actual money, instead of having to buy a secondary currency and then turn that currency into the thing that you want. The other cool thing that I really like about it is that you have different leaders for each faction. So it's not just, hey, I'm playing Viking, so I'm playing Odin. You have Odin, you have Freya, you have Loki. All of these guys have different abilities. Thor. And you basically rank your character up, and then you are able to unlock them in kind of like a tech tree-esque type thing. And the same goes for all the factions. You have 4 for each faction. The Greeks, you've got Poseidon, you've got Athena, you've got Zeus, and you've got Ares. And again, the artwork on the cards looks fantastic. Look at that. Look at those smoldering muscles. Look at that lightning. Look at that shield. That shield's it's arguably cooler. That is something that I actually really appreciated. It felt like there was a longevity to it. There was a progression. There's unlocks. There's stuff to do. Instead of just, grinding out games for gold, I guess. I felt that there wasn't a lot to the starter decks that they give you. Once you complete the tutorials, you get one of each of these, the Japanese, Norse, and Greek. And when you get them, my first instinct was, I'm going to go build a deck for each faction. And it looks like you get some from this faction as well, which has some really cool stuff in it too. It's the Aztecs, but you get a few cards for them as well. As you can tell, there doesn't seem to be a lot of options for deck building when you get those decks. It's not. Again, being a free-to-play player, it doesn't give you a lot of options because it's just the deck. So the only way that you can take out and put stuff in is going to be if you either purchased cards or used gold that you farmed to get packs, which is fine. I mean, that's how you start out. You get starter decks and then you go from there. So I think that they have done fairly well with that. I have not really seen their reward structure for tournaments or anything like that. I think that's a fairly new thing that they've added, weekly tournaments and draft and stuff like that. So something that I will probably look into now that those new features have been released. But as a whole, I think that the game doesn't know what it wants to do, and I think that's the ultimate complaint that I actually have. I have very small minor grievances throughout, the endurance system. It feels really odd and kind of clunky. It makes me think of L5R, and I fucking hate L5R, Legend of the Five Rings. The system of playing a card and then it not lasting very long, or not being able to protect it without not using it, feels really weird to me. Thematically, it makes sense, and I think with some tweaks, it could be really, really cool and a very, very fresh take on a creature mechanic. But as you noticed, most creatures have extremely low endurance. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. This guy's got 3. But he's also terrible because he costs 4 and he's only 1 power. And he does 1 damage to a temple. It feels like you're just throwing fodder out. You're just it doesn't give a good play experience when you throw down a creature and you're like, yeah, this creature's going to do stuff, and then it's like, hey, I attacked and then defended with him and now he's dead. I think if you were able to bump up the amount of endurance creatures had, and then add more cards like Wolfbane Drop, which reduce, or they lose endurance, I think that balance of, hey, you really want to get rid of this guy, you're going to have to work for it, not just me doing the work to kill my own creatures. At least that was kind of my takeaway. Again, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. There's not a lot of high endurance creatures. The one that you did see in the earlier gameplay with 5 endurance was insane. But he was 9 costs for a 3 strength guy. So you're paying for the endurance, you're not paying for necessarily a good creature in terms of like board presence. He's just going to last a long time, which can turn the tide, especially if you can trigger temples to give him plus strength or plus endurance whenever you use him. Again, there's a lot of strategy to it, and there's a lot of good things that it has going for it. So these small grievances that I have are things that can easily be rectified through, playtesting and hopefully the devs listening to their fans and all that sort of stuff. But some of the things that it has going for it is that it has really good sound, really good music. Like I said, the voiceover is pretty decent. It's not, outlandish or anything, but it's solid. The different mythologies is a brilliant idea. I love that. The fact that they all play differently, I love that. It makes you realize that it's not just a whole bunch of cookie cutter classes or factions or anything like that. Like, you are playing the playstyle that you want or the god that you want, and that is going to dictate the playstyle. The card art is really nice. They are updating it constantly, so they are adding new stuff. There's a lot going for it, but again, the biggest problem that I see is that it doesn't seem to know what it's trying to do. Again, I don't know who the target audience is for it, because if it's trying to compete with something like Hearthstone or even Eternal, that is a very, very slippery slope. And many people have tried, and I do not want to see this game fail. I do not want to see these developers fail, because, again, this is a fresh new take, or it could be a fresh new take on the digital card game genre. I don't know if their target audience is more geared towards adults, which would make sense, because if it is encouraged that you spend money, then those are going to be the people that you want. If it's not, then I think that they need to really tread a fine line on what cards that they're including, what they're named, like seppuku, those sorts of things. I think that my advice to the developers, and this is 100% genuine from the bottom of my heart, I want to see where this game goes. My advice is to take a step back, and instead of what feels like taking every cool concept from every card game and just cramming it into a package, really, really streamline everything. I mean, like, everything. And to elaborate a little bit, like, streamline the endurance system, streamline the character costs, high definition artwork. This game could be something really special, but you have so much going on that it's kind of cluttering itself up. So instead of having 20 different mechanics that some kind of work and some contradict them, find the mechanics that really, really work for the core game and the core gameplay, and then elaborate on those, build on those, and take it in a direction that is different than Hearthstone, than Eternal, than Gwent, than any of these games. And I think you will have something truly fucking magical. And to me, a game that I would actually be interested in playing and possibly dropping money in. And as somebody who does not usually drop money on free-to-play games, that's big for me. But that's my advice. Streamline the mechanics. You don't need to over-clutter or over-complicate the game. And even if you want to show off the inspirations that you had, like Netrunner, Magic, Hearthstone, Raw Deal, L5R, anything like that, you don't have to show off all of them. And maybe you can later. Maybe there's a special mechanic that you really, really want to keep in the game, but it's not working right now. Use it for a new mythology. Use it for a new faction. Use it for a new god or card type. This game, the potential is limitless. So, to me, I would say, or for me, I would say, check the game out for anybody that's watching. Take a look at it. Play it as a free-to-play model. See what you think. Give the devs feedback. They do seem really, really open to feedback. And go from there. Hopefully, this game grows into something very, very magical, because I think that it has the potential to do so. But again, it is early access. This is just my honest opinion of what I have played and what I have seen. Some of the things that I have talked about can be very easily fixed or implemented, but also there's not really a whole lot that needs to be done other than trying to find that focus and realizing what exactly you want this game to be and who you want to target as the audience. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the video, and get out there and play some games.